Coach, what's the latest? Kalani told us to ask you. What's the latest on Puka and Gunner?
I wouldn't tell you if I knew, but I don't know yet, and probably be a game time decision.
Did they practice this week at all?
Yeah. I'm not answering that.
Going back, looking at Jaren and that performance against USF, what did you take away?
Fast start was good. We got off to a fast start, and thought we handled the weather delay better than they did.
Was there consideration with Jaren playing that fourth quarter versus not playing that fourth quarter?
No concern at all. He barely even got a grass stain. Our O-line did a great job protecting him. He ran a couple times in the game. One of the runs he ran was not a design run. He just did it on his own, which I wasn't super happy about, but sort of had to do it because we had a blocking breakdown. But he's this is his time, and he's ready for this. And we're going to be smart about it, but we want him on the field.
How did Harris emerge? Harris LaChance as that starting right guard?
Harris was our highest graded O-lineman last year in the 6 games he played. He was playing as well or better than all of them, and so I had a feeling he was going to find his way into the starting 5. And it just so happened that we had just the best way to get the best 5 on the field was for him to be right guard. But he could easily start at either tackle. He could play left or right tackle. He could play left or right guard. But it was just the best way to get all 5, the best 5 guys out there. Harris is a good football player.
Is Campbell probably number 6? Some players positions.
Gosh, I might forget someone. Campbell. It would be Campbell and Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, they're both sort of. They fill different roles. Joe's the backup. Joe's the next center. He's probably the next guy at right guard, and where Campbell would sort of be the next guy up at the tackle spot. But we have a lot of versatility there because Harris can also play either tackle. So there's a lot of things we can do, and we still have a ton of confidence in Braden Kime. Braden Kime started against USC last year, and he's pretty good too. So it's a good problem to have.
Is it too early to call BYU Baylor a rivalry, even a friendly rivalry?
Well, it wasn't competitive enough last year to call it a rivalry. I mean, they pushed us around and bullied us and they had their way with us. And so I don't think you really call it a rivalry until you earn some respect.
Personally, for you though, obviously you worked under Jeff.
Yeah. I mean, it's in a fun way. It's a rivalry that way. Yeah, because I like Coach Grimey, and he's a great friend. We'll talk after the game, but hopefully, I hope someday we're a good enough team that they consider us a rival. But I wouldn't say it's a rivalry yet.
I think on Coordinator's Corner, you had a lot of praise for Chris Brooks.
Yeah.
Watching the film, is it pretty much everything you thought he'd be?
He was, and I think I've said a bunch of times that I couldn't believe how fast he learned our offense when he got here. He's all business, just a diligent worker, wanted to learn what we were doing, and in the game, he made very few mistakes, if any. I mean, he was assignment sound and pass protection. He had a great block on the first play of the game on Puka's touchdown. He was involved in that. He ran the ball very well, and maybe the only mistake I can think of is the almost touchdown that they had off the pass that originally got ruled backward. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of in the game that he didn't do well. So it's one game, but I'm confident he's going to keep playing well for us.
What do you make of some of the other running backs down below him? Jackson McChesney, Miles Davis, those guys.
I thought Peeney had one of his. He did what he does. He's very steady, comes in and runs hard. He's an excellent receiver, blocker, very smart guy. So Peeney played well, and then I love how McChesney. He's always fresh legs, bowling ball in the fourth quarter. The other team's worn down, and he'll come in and just punish you. And so I'm really happy with those guys. And Miles did well with his snaps, and we'll try to keep using him. He's got a lot of speed.
What's kind of the next step for Chris after what you saw? Because, you mentioned it right there. It is also only week 1. I think he's got a lot that he can still do and maybe take it to another level, right?
Probably next step is just more carries, showing that you can carry the load, 20 times. And that's, I think he had 13 in the game. And I would envision there's going to be games this year where he's in the 20s, and that's, the great backs like Tyler last year got stronger as the game went on. The farther into the 20s he got in his carries, the stronger he got, and that remains to be seen about Chris, but I have a lot of confidence in him.
In terms of the receivers, so many guys getting involved, do you anticipate that many people playing and getting in this game too?
Yeah, I do, and I think that'll be a thing all year. Even when we have Puka and Gunnar or not, those guys were all in the mix to play with or without them because they've earned it. And Fessy does a great job of keeping those guys fresh, and he rotates bodies in there. Fessy's as good as I've ever worked with as far as like understanding who to have in the game in the right situations based on what the play call is and the situation. And so all those guys have earned a right to play, and you'll keep seeing more of them.
With Katoa specifically, have you noticed, what is the biggest difference that you noticed from him last year? A lot of personal things off the field last year. What is the difference with him this year?
With Peeny?
Yeah.
I honestly don't see a huge difference. To me, he's just always been a really reliable player for us that sort of just, he's a guy who kind of just like rights the ship, like if we're not playing well, Peeny's a guy who will go in there and do the right thing. He's assignment sound all the time. He can very accountable, trustworthy at everything he does, and so I've always had a lot of confidence in him, and he's gonna keep playing that same role. I think he's a good second punch, I guess would be the word.
You guys got anything else for Coach? Thanks.
All right, guys. Yeah, good to see y'all.